Hey everyone, Simon here with Top Tennis Training, and in this video I want to help you to get more power on your forehand in tennis. Now when it comes to generating power on any shot, it's all about creating racket head speed. So I'm going to show you two different shadow swings and listen to the sound that my racket and strings make on both of them. So the first one, now the second one. So both swings are exactly the same technically, but one I'm doing at much higher speeds. So the first one, I'm doing the right technique, but it's very slow, especially during that contact point. And the second one, exact same technique, but now I'm speeding up through the point of contact, and that racket head speed will equal more power on the ball. Now before we get any deeper into the lesson, if you're serious about improving your game, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and you turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future lessons. Anything that will help us to generate more racket head speed will give us more power, and there are different ways to generate that racket head speed. Now the first method we're going to talk about is using the kinetic chain of the body. Now if you study the best players in the world, they all have different forehands, they all have different grips, they hit the ball in different ways. But they all use two methods on their forehand to generate power. The first is coil and uncoil, and the second is load and unload. So let's look at coil and uncoil first. At the beginning of the stroke, when they're waiting in that ready position, so they don't know if it's coming to their forehand, they don't know if it's coming to their backhand. Most pro players will wait with the forehand grip. So by waiting with that forehand grip, you're giving yourself the most chance to hit a forehand if it comes to that side, or if it comes in the middle, you can run around and hit that forehand. Now from this position, the key point is that coil in the starting phase of that swing. So you'll see Federer, you'll see Nadal, you'll see Djokovic. All of these top pros will use this coil at the beginning of the stroke. So this coil is basically from that ready position, all they're doing is now coiling the upper body. So they're turning the left shoulder if they're a right-handed player. So it's turning the left shoulder and coiling the upper body. Now this coil is storing energy in the trunk muscles, especially the oblique muscles, the side abdominal muscles responsible for rotation of the trunk. So if I want to turn my upper body to the right side now, all I'm doing is coiling my upper body, but I feel a stretch in the abdominal muscles, in my core muscles, and I'm storing that energy. And now if I turn quick and then uncoil, you'll see that I'm creating a bit of power, a bit of force on that forward phase, because I've created that coil in the first place. So it's like a rubber band. You're pulling back the rubber band, it's storing the energy, and when you release, it fires off. Same method on that forehand. I'm coiling the upper body, I'm storing that energy, so that when I uncoil, I have a lot of power created because of that uncoiling, that kinetic chain from the upper body. So by storing energy, you're creating that explosive power on the forward phase of your forehand. But not only that, this coil also helps you to prepare the racket head. So from this position, now from here, all I'm doing is coiling the upper body. So I'm not focusing on my swing, I'm not focusing on my hand moving independently. And you'll see how far the racket can get by just that coil of the upper body. So I'm going from front on position to a side on position, front on position, side on position. So my swing has already been initiated with that coil of my upper body. So if I do it at high speeds, you can see how this can create that racket head speed and a bit of a swing just from that coil and uncoil. Coil, uncoil. My hand is doing very little in that preparation phase. I'm simply coiling, letting go, and then uncoiling. So once again, coil, uncoil. Now the next part of this kinetic chain comes from the leg drive. So that loading and unloading with the legs. So most players will load up on their back leg before they hit the forehand, regardless of the stance. So if I'm going for an open stance, I'm going to be loading up on my right leg, my outside leg. From this loading phase, I now have the ability to drive into that ball. So loading, unloading. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Even if I'm stepping in with a semi-open or a neutral stance, I still load up on this outside leg, then I can step forward in that neutral stance and then have that weight transfer and unloading phase during my strike zone.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Now if you can incorporate just these two methods into your own forehand, you'll see a massive improvement in the power straight away. So the easiest way for you to feel this is to take your tennis racket, no ball, you can do this anywhere as long as you have enough space, and all you're doing is simply coiling, uncoiling, coiling, uncoiling. So shadow forehands, just coiling and uncoiling. And then you'll start to use the legs at the same time. So I'm coiling, I'm loading, I'm driving with my legs, and I'm allowing my upper body to uncoil. So here, load, uncoil. Here, load, uncoil. The more power I can get from that leg drive and from that uncoil, the less power I'll need to generate from my swing and from the hand itself. Now if you want more help with your forehand, we have a free forehand guide that you can download right away. I'll leave the link below this video. All you have to do is click on that link, that will take you to our website. You simply enter your email address and we'll send you that free guide right away. So that guide is 5 steps to hitting the perfect tennis forehand. Now if you think about many players in your club, you might be one of them yourself. Hopefully you're not after this lesson. You see them coiling the upper body, they take the racket back, and what tends to happen is the arm starts to swing independently. So they haven't uncoiled on the forward phase, they haven't created that forward power from the uncoiling of the body, they're creating the power just from that swing of the arm. So it's like this. So yes, they're turning the shoulders, yes, they're getting side on, but they end up hitting the ball like this, and only when the ball has left them, then they actually open the shoulders. So this is exactly what you don't want to be doing if you want to generate that effortless power time and time again on your forehand. You want that coil, but you want that uncoil on the forward phase. And at the end of the video, I'll show you a very simple drill that will help you to feel that coil and uncoil to maximum effect. So the next thing that will help us to generate more racket speed is the swing.